The theme of this conference is Opportunity 2016. This captures the essence of the Labour Party. We believe everyone should have the opportunity to live a fulfilled life by earning a fair living and supporting those who need it most. We are optimistic about the capacity of our people to recover from Ireland's economic woes and ambitious for the country's future. In 2012, we celebrated Labour's 100th year, founded to promote decent living standards. This mission remains equally relevant today. We must continue striving to implement our fundamental values as we prepare to mark the centenary of the 1916 Rising. Since I last addressed you in Enfield, it is fair to say we have had our ups and downs. The most difficult aspect has been the loss of our MEPs and too many of our excellent councillors in the May 2014 elections. I know firsthand the hard work put in by our candidates, having stood in the Dublin West by-election. But I am immensely proud to have been a Dáil candidate for Labour. Our party can stand over its role in rescuing Ireland from the economic and financial edge. Labour acted responsibly on behalf of the Irish people, facing up to the reality of budget constraint with a central concern to limit the negative effects on ordinary households. There were difficult decisions, and perhaps some things could have been done differently, but Labour has always sought to achieve a balanced outcome at the negotiating table. Our party is making a real difference in government, rather than playing on understandable public anger about the country's circumstances with an approach by some on the hard left and others which does not add up and offers no credible answers to the challenges facing our state. The Irish people have shown great fortitude in their efforts to restore Ireland's economic health, and their patience is beginning to bear fruit. The prospect is now emerging that the sacrifices endured by many can be replaced with better prospects. The rate of unemployment at 10.4% is now at its lowest level since the crisis began. There has been some let-up in the scarring problem of youth unemployment, down from a high of almost 30% to 20.3% currently. There is no room for complacency, but it is encouraging that the trend is going in the right direction. Budget 2015 marked a break from austerity. Labour prioritised reform of the universal social charge, taking another 80,000 low-paid workers out of the net this year and lowering the rates for many. We must continue to pursue ways to maintain and reinforce the progressivity of our taxation system. For the first time in several years, workers can see some moderation in the amount of deductions from their pay packet. It is a modest but important step in ensuring work pays and that struggling families are rewarded in a reasonable way for their labour. Any scope for budgetary relaxation depends on sustainable growth. That is why Labour attaches so much weight to protecting and supporting the recovery, fostering job retention and creation, and providing opportunities that support people seeking work. It is clear, despite the suggestions of our detractors, Labour is at the heart of representing ordinary working people. Labour is the party of work. This is an essential part of our raison d'etre. Labour was key to securing agreement on collective bargaining legislation to allow workers to have their voice heard. We must be equally resolute to ensure the enactment and effective implementation of the law. Labour secured the reinstatement of wage-setting mechanisms in sectors such with a heightened potential for exploitation. Yet resistance remains, particularly in hospitality. Labour must stress the need for engagement and even consider measures to bring all parties to the table. Well-run fair hotels such as here in the Gleneagle show that good facilities and service don't have to come at the expense of poor working conditions. Labour is also seeking to improve regulation in the waste management industry. Labour insisted on the establishment of a low pay commission to advise on an appropriate level for the national minimum wage, which is sustainable and provides a level of decency for vulnerable workers. The issue of zero-hour contracts is also to be addressed. Labour is concerned about the impact of precarious work and believes workers should be able to achieve a living wage which provides a basic decent standard of well-being. And Labour in government has initiated talks to reinstate public sector pay cuts on an incremental basis as the economy allows. As a Social Democratic Party, we strongly favour the availability of accessible public services. And for Labour, it is part of the social contract for citizens to contribute towards their provision, according to their means, in contrast to some who seem to think that the money to pay will somehow fall magically from the sky. Labour has not shirked difficult but justified decisions. Labour has taken steps to widen our revenue base by accepting the need for property tax and water charges. We all know these have been controversial measures, and some here may advocate redesign of elements for the future. But Labour is not naive nor misleading. Labour knows that adequate funding is needed to build a first-class education and health system, to provide good transport links, to improve childcare and to maintain local amenities. Labour is at the forefront of fostering respect in our society. We believe in the diversity of loving family structures in Ireland and that they deserve recognition and protection. Labour is enthusiastic about the contribution our new communities can make. And Labour has pushed for a referendum on marriage equality and is leading the charge for a yes vote. Our members have always been Labour's backbone. They have been campaigning on many fronts since we last met in Killarney. I want to thank every member for their assistance during last year's elections and for your continued willingness to fight in the general election for Labour. We have begun the selection process and already many of you are active on the ground. The motivation and conviction of our activists is crucial in the period ahead to bring Labour's record of application and our message of opportunity to voters. At the doors in the Dublin West by-election, my conversations with constituents were sometimes challenging. Some were disillusioned, others dismissive. But in the end, most were willing to recognise the role Labour has played in carving a path to progress. Labour members remain essential in communicating to the public the kind of society we want to build, starting from the marriage equality referendum right up to the close of polls on general election night. Our members are the lifeblood of Labour and are central to developing our policy platform. I am proud of the strength of Labour's internal democracy. We're not afraid of robust debate. I chaired the leadership hustings in Dublin, Cork and Galway. All were well attended, broadcast on the internet and open to the media. The Central Council has considered policy and motions, bringing issues of concern directly to the leadership, and in a new departure, gathering current and former councillors and Oireachtas members to chart a way forward. The Executive Board has dealt with our party's business in a thorough manner, working constructively with the aim of making decisions that are in the best interests of our party. Labour is a responsive party, seeking to address the concerns of members and the electorate. Policy fora have been held to feed into the programme for the 2014 elections and to discuss budget decisions. Branches and constituencies are the foundation for our connection with issues and sentiment on the ground. Members will also have an opportunity to engage in the process for developing our general election manifesto. This weekend's conference is about hearing your voice and priorities. Tomorrow offers an array of choices: 3 policy discussions with PLP members and experts, fringe events organised by our party sections, ministerial briefings and other workshops on aspects of organisation. The TV panel discussion will be based on questions from our members. We all know that staff members are key in fostering the party's vibrancy. I want to thank them all for their work and commitment. It is important to acknowledge that Ita McAuliffe has ended her period as our General Secretary. I want to thank her on behalf of me as Chair, but more on behalf of all members, for her sterling service and dedication over many years. She has stayed on to help with conference and once again has done an excellent job in preparations. I also want to congratulate David Leach, our new General Secretary, and welcome his appointment, because his experience and drive make him very well positioned to manage the election period ahead. I wish you all delegates a very enjoyable and constructive conference. Thank you.